Hello and welcome to Planet Coaster, the perfect murder park builder. The first alpha release contains mostly building, the management and terraforming part of the game is still not functional, but there's enough stuff to create a very nice environment for the murderers. After building the initial path, I added some trees and rocks to the entrance, as well as the Coaster King statues. The Coaster King presents himself as a mascot of the park, but in reality he is a soul eater. Whenever someone dies in the park, he feasts on their soul before it goes to hell. This way the park stays off Lucifer's radar and we can safely continue building it. The first attraction that I placed is Discriminator. This device launches people high up into the sky where butterfly flamingos infect them with their song. This song makes people ecstatic and they absolutely love the ride, but it gives them terrible diarrhea. This is also known as the God's Buttstick. I had to strategically place the entrance and exit, so when people leave, they encounter others who are walking through the main path. By doing this, people who leave will be loud and happy, so others will get compelled to visit the ride as well. I placed a poster on the opposite side of the exit. Advertisers pay good money for this spot. Now that this little section has been completed, I went towards creating a sacred land, where souls will get gathered in case the Coaster King can't eat them fast enough. In this area I placed a bunch of crates, with various storage items, a cannon, campfire, hanging human corpse cage, some rocks, and additional barrels. In case you are having difficulties understanding what these things represent, let me clear it up for you. Cannons are violent, barrels are used to store dead bodies, campfires are spooky, and hanging human corpse cages are, well, hanging human fucking corpse cages. Shitters are next. Shitters are necessary because the people on Discriminator will be hit with explosive diarrhea about 57 seconds after leaving the ride, and they'll need to empty themselves. I placed 3 toilets on the far opposite side of the ride. I put one yellow tree behind each one. These trees are being fed with the diarrhea the most, so it affects the color of their leaves. That's why they're yellow. I also added a shit ton more trees around the place, because the diarrhea serves as a great fertilizer, so the ground is very fertile. It also helps cover up the deaths. I'll explain how the people die some other time. Now we will move all the way to the other end of the path and start creating the prototype of the roller coaster of death. Building this motherfucker was the biggest pain in my ass ever since that weekend in jail a few years ago. First I fucked up the side I placed the booth on, and then when building the coaster itself, I had no idea how to click on things properly. I was pressing buttons like it was rocket science, not realizing what is up, down or forward. However, I did manage to create a cobra roll and a Norwegian loop. Afterwards I was approaching the end of the coaster and had to close the loop. I clicked at least half 1,000 times and nothing was happening, but I assumed the coaster was completed. I clicked off of it and just then I realized that the fucking booth was on the wrong side of the path. Next suffering came from the path itself. Since the coaster was in the way of the path, I needed to raise it and connect it on the other side of the booth. I thought that I would be able to easily connect the path while elevating it, but turns out I'm not exactly capable of using the game controls, so this took a fair chunk out of my nerves. Eventually I connected it all, opened my park, and the victims started pouring in. To make sure they have enough food and drinks, I created a few shops near the existing locations. It will both help with the diarrhea and add some money to the park so we can keep bringing more attractions to it. To properly welcome them to the coaster prototype, I added a nice arch with a Planet Coaster sign before it. The toilets began filling up, and the campfire spread its spookiness across the entire park. Motherfuckers didn't visit the coaster though. I wasn't sure what was wrong. Is my coaster prototype too dangerous? Is it flawed? Regardless of the reason, I decided to add 2 more attractions before trying to fix it. The first one was the hammer swing. I placed it on the opposite side of the shops, and this attraction works similarly to the hammer throw. Just instead of an instant knockout, it makes the people confused. This confusion makes them think like they never even visited the attraction, which makes them go in a constant loop, visiting it over and over again. Until death. We're gonna talk more about deaths next time. The next thing I added was the Genie. This attraction spins. It spins quite a bit. The coaster still isn't fucking working though. I clicked on it and found the debug button. This was the magic button, and it allowed me to properly finish building the coaster by adding cards. Once they were visible, I started a test ride. The pain hit me like a carton of used tampons. I thought boosters would launch the cart enough so they complete the first loop, but I was wrong. I assumed that the chain link was the thing I needed, so I placed it up until the loop and started the carts again. I understood now, the pain was fading away, and I deleted the fucking loop and added the chain link all across the slope. I rose the slope a bit higher as well, to add momentum. It wasn't enough? It's never enough. To prevent more tampons from hitting my face, I rose the fucking slope as high as I could. Now the fucker had enough momentum to go through the entire coaster, and I was confident that the people would come and experience the thrill. They didn't though. The goddamn bastards still refused to come. And then I noticed how fucking stupid I am. Look at this shit. How can I expect the people to use my death coaster with such an obvious murdering technique? I deleted the stupid path and made sure it is higher so the cart can pass under it without any issues. As soon as I enabled it, people started coming. The death coaster prototype has finally been created, and I learned what to do to make sure future coasters are built properly. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Planet Coaster. The ultimate murder park must be perfected, and the gods must be pleased. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petard eternally touch your butt.